Welcome to the Shady Sports Network. I'm your host, Stephen Foster, and this is the final episode of the Stampede for the 2023 season. And let me tell you, it's been an amazing transformation from last year to this year. My hat's off to the coaching staff and players. Here joining me tonight to help break it all down, my producer, Sam, of the Shady Sports Network. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here once again.
Sam, amazing run for the Mustangs. What are your first impressions?
Well, I quickly became a fan of this Mustangs offense because it was incredibly fun to watch. Every week, high flying. It seemed like they were constantly shooting for the end zone every play. It was like they had this mentality that their offense was set to kill from the second they stepped on the field, and it was just awesome to watch. Whether it was Arthur Anderson or Jalen Jefferson, Karance Higgins. I know I'm forgetting names, and I apologize for anybody who I missed there, but it was unbelievably exciting to watch every game, no matter who the opponent was.
For sure. Definitely agree with that one. It was almost like they were trying to score 100 every game.
It was. And, they came really close a couple times.
Yeah.
I also should say the defense was incredibly exciting as well. I don't want to undersell them as well. I'm just an offensive guy. It was super fun to watch, but Garrett Pemberton and many others on the defense as well. Torrey Peters, a couple other guys. Super fun to watch them as well.
Yeah, the team was excited on both sides of the ball for sure this year. Well, why don't we bring in the owner and the head coach? Looks like they're together. We got Titus and Cedric Walker joining us tonight. Welcome, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Hello.
Good. Mr. Titus, we'll start with you first. What's your standout moment for the Mustangs this year?
Standout moment was, Coach Walker's motto all season was to take receipts. And what I think he meant by that was to just prove all the naysayers wrong all season long. And he did that all season long. I think it started with Southwest Kansas. Then we moved on to Rapid. And then I think one of the big moments was Sioux City. Sioux City was next. And I think a lot of people were stunned. Oh, maybe it's a fluke. Maybe it's a one-game thing. And then who was the fourth game? Topeka.
No.
Or no. Well, anyway, it was
I think it was a 72 we put on Billings.
That's
that was
actually.
No, I'm just playing with you.
No,
but then
I was at that game.
Yeah, I was too. But and then our fifth game was Omaha, and we stayed up with Omaha until the third quarter, and then maybe Gillette's overrated. But then when we beat Sioux City again, I think people were like, wow, this Gillette team's kind of legitimate. And so it proved to Gillette that, yeah, this team's for real this year. We kept promising that we were going to bring a new vibe, a new energy, a new kind of quality team to the field. And at that point, after we beat Sioux City the second time, I think people understood it wasn't a fluke, especially when that win was in Sioux City, which is a very difficult place to be, because I was at the Sioux City Salina game in week 2 when Salina lost to Sioux City. And so that's what it was all about this year, was proven that, Coach Walker and I put together mostly Coach Walker, put together a quality team, a quality product on and off the field, and that we had the skill and the knowledge to put us on the map in the first full season of doing this thing right.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you guys both the question. I mean, you guys went from an organization that had only won, 5 games previously to this?
3. Or probably 5 total, yeah.
Yeah, 5 total in 2 seasons. To a point where we literally were expecting wins on a week-in, week-out basis. What did it take to kind of change that mentality, or was there just not enough left from the last teams for that mentality to carry over?
Well, I think it all started with this man right here when we went back to the rebranding of everything in regards to our expectations. As you can tell, as you interviewed the guys during the season, the standard is a standard. We're taking receipts, and we actually started from this show right here, where the arena statement, where the young man said that he was asking his daughters, will we win 5 games? We kept all that. So that really kind of started, because they didn't know the hard work that we put in, and I'm talking about from day one. when we had our meeting in regards to what our expectation is from him all the way down. We asked each one of these young men. The main thing was football important to them. And once we figured that out with the coaching staff that we put together, we knew we had a good opportunity to be successful.
And if I could dovetail on that just a sec, is this is credit to Coach Walker, Coach Gray, Coach Orrell, Coach Taylor. It's easy to recruit when you have a winning franchise. It's easy to get people to come here when you have a winning history. It takes skill, talent, knowledge, and just an overall good perception to these future players to get them to come to a team that hasn't proven itself yet. It was easy to get good players to come mid-season when we were winning, but I give all the credit to Coach Walker, Coach Gray, Coach Orrell, and Coach Taylor to be able to get the right players here when we had a history of being a losing franchise. That's difficult to do.
Definitely.
100% is. And I mean, it's very impressive, the quick turnaround, because it was literally from day one, it felt like a totally different team, and it just continued all season long.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing is we got great character guys. The one thing I keep saying, football was important to them. And the main thing, the standard is the standard. We have high expectations here. The main thing, we went from where's Gillette to how can we get to Gillette? And that was a big thing. And like I said, it all started with the top, and it filtered down through the organization.
I can definitely see that for sure. Speaking of filtering from the top down on, we got a couple of the premier players from this organization's season this year. So we'll go ahead and introduce Arthur Anderson and Garrett Pemberton. How you fellas doing tonight? Arthur, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty well. Garrett, how about you, man?
Good. I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate that, guys.
Yep. Appreciate y'all
having me.
What was your guys' standout moment of the year? Garrett, we'll start with you.
Oh man, it was a crazy. One of the really memorable seasons that I'll be able to remember. But like Coach Walker was saying earlier, that 70 we put up on Billings, that was a huge right there. Got to score my first career touchdown in there.
Yep.
Game right there.
Yeah. Didn't you play that game with a giant club on your hand?
Yeah. I had that was my actually off of the club, so I had the at that time, but first game club.
Didn't Garrett get an interception with the club? With the club. He got called back, but he got an interception just with the club. I remember that.
That was against Rapid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Arthur Anderson, how many touchdowns did you have in that game?
The Billings game, I can't even remember to tell you the truth. I just know how many touchdowns I had for the season, but I couldn't tell you for each game. But
I'm gonna tell you something, fellas, that nobody really understands. I knew that this team was really great. Is the game after the travel home after Sioux City, how we enjoyed each other on the bus, because those are things nobody sees but us, the players and the coaches. At that moment in time, I knew that, okay, we had a possibility of being a special team, because guys just got to enjoy themselves. Guys got to relax. We got to it was a tough game going into Sioux City because nobody thought we would win. But to watch the guys after the game on the bus, that was a moment that this team, I think, really came together.
Interesting.
You know who else saw it early on was Sam. Sam was when everybody was given their power rankings, Sam always put Gillette at top, and he got questioned by a couple guys around the league, but he saw it pretty early.
We appreciate you, Sam.
Yeah,
like I said, I knew a lot of these guys from just previous relationships, I guess, and I knew this team was going to be special just looking at some of these guys on the roster. Arthur and how versatile he was, Carance, where he's been before. It was kind of amazing to see how you guys assembled such a talented roster, quite honestly. Not to, harp on that so much, but it really was a lot of fun to watch.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Hard work.
I don't know why I put that up there. Sorry. I'm over here hitting buttons.
You're all right. You're all right. If you do want to join the show and you're watching and you have something you want to get off your chest or tell the players, ask a question, something like that, make sure you have your camera on. And if you're saying anything negative, I'm probably going to boot you off immediately. So just get that out of there. But somebody says we need to get off Billings a little bit. I don't think we were harping on that too much. But Arthur, I don't think we asked you, what was your favorite moment from the season?
So my favorite moment was probably either the Billings game or the Rapid City game, only because those are the two high scoring games, and those are the two games, probably the only two games where offense and defense both put it together and was making big plays. So those were the funner games when both sides of the ball are clicking. That's when we really having fun. So those it's between those two. And Rapid City was a CIF record, I believe, in points with 77. So
Sure.
That's very fair. Definitely fair. When did you guys know when this team would be special? I mean, let's start with Arthur first.
as soon as I got here, when we reported for camp, I think I came like 3 days before camp started, thinking I'm gonna be the early person, and I came and it was already a whole bunch of people here. I'm like, okay, so that means everybody ready to go. It's meaning something to everybody that like nobody's just sitting around waiting. You know, everybody's ready to get to it. And then as we're going through camp and you see the work people putting in and like people's mindset towards it and how everywhere we go, every time we together, the only thing we talking about is football, the game plans, stuff like that. So
Interesting. Garrett, what about you?
Honestly, I see like at XFL workouts. I've seen a lot of these guys' talent already before, and I just and then the rest of the talent.
Breaking up really bad, buddy.
yeah,
Oh, my fault. Is
your phone might be on the mic or something.
that better right there?
Yeah,
Definitely.
you gotta start from the top now.
All right, from the top. My fault. Okay, here we go. No, I said so. I knew during camp, between doing some XFL workouts and seeing these guys there, between playing and recruiting for Senior Bowl games, I seen a lot of these guys' talent. And when I got to camp, there was even more people. Like it was, we have crazy talent. And then if you go all the way to the team we finished with the team we started with, it's crazy how much talent we've added on to that roster already. So like I saw greatness in this team right away from first week of camp when we were all clicking, coming together.
Coach Walker, if I could ask you a little bit, I mean, how do you go about evaluating a player and determining he's good enough for your squad? I'm kind of curious.
Well, I've been doing this, evaluating players since 2010. I know when I was with the Sabercats, that was one of the things that that was part of my job. My main thing is, I guess, is a blessed thing to be able to project, to make sure that to see how these guys fit in our in our offense or our defense. But it goes back to the when I talk to these young men, is football important to them? Expectations, what our expectations were here coming into this season. And the main thing is coming in and just doing your job. We say this all the time: do your job to the best of your ability. If we do that, we're 1-0. And guys bought in. But I think the one thing that really helped us out is the culture that these young men brought with them. Garrett was one of them. Garrett brought in, guys that he knew. Three guys that actually came in, that came in and helped us out. Art helped us out as well. The thing is, we, talking to Art's dad after the Omaha game, we found out Art could spin it. So, we had guys that, we had guys that were multi-talented. And the main thing is character. We built this team on character. We built this team on guys. The main thing is just football has to be important. And then once we figure that out, sky's the limit, because I've never been around a group of young men that when we're out at a function, they got their phones, they're watching practice, they're watching the games and everything. And I knew right then that we had a good team.
Yeah, they definitely kept towing the same line all season long. I would bait them into questions, and they just kept trying to say, "We're just trying to go 1-0."
That's it.
I don't know how many
That's
times I heard that this season.
Yeah, that's it. Because the one thing that we can control is the next day or that practice. Our job is to be 1-0. We know that if every man, and we say this every time, if every man do their job to the best of their ability, we'll be 1-0 at the end. And we're not sitting up here worried about our stats, because you got to realize if you do your job as a product of the system, then the stats will come naturally. We're not sitting up here, guys running around, late nights doing their things. They are watching film. They're, getting ready. And like I said, the bus rides back were very enjoyous to see guys kind of relax, because they knew that was their time to enjoy it, because we knew when we got back, it started back over. Our practice were to the point we had great competition, as Art said and Garrett said as well. And like I told the guys, the real thing is the team that we started with won't be this team that we finish with. But the guys understood that we had a great culture. We had great leadership. We kept the nucleus of the guys together. And when guys came in, guys like Garrett, guys like Arthur, took those young guys under their wings, and they showed them the way how things were supposed to be ran here.
Interesting. I know you guys said, or I know you said that you don't really care about the stats and whatnot, but how important was it, or how special was it for you guys to set a franchise record in points scored? I can imagine that moment meant a little something to you.
Actually,
well, first off, I think that the record was set on us last year against Omaha in your first week of coaching. I think Omaha scored like 80 something we came on us last year.
That was rough. That was a rough one, because I had nothing but take that one. But the one thing about it, honestly, we didn't know. We just knew that the guys were having fun. Everything was flowing like Art was saying. But the one thing is that from 1 through 5, our receivers, I think, are the best in the league. I know Coach Gray has done an excellent job. We brought Aaron in. I know prior to that, we had Mike Pena, and everybody's like, "Why'd you make that decision?" We felt like we can get better. And you think about it, Aaron's first game, we set the record. But the one thing is like everything here was a competition. We want nobody sitting up here resting on their laurels, because in the end, we're trying to get to that point where, the Omahas, the Salinas, and even if you think about it with the Billings, with the mystique that they have. Granted, we had 1 year, but that's just 1 year. We've got to continue to build. I know that Garrett and I know Arthur, they got bigger and better things, but we know here in Gillette, with the coaching staff, with the ownership they would have, that we've got the start of something special here.
100%. I mean, it showed in every facet of the game this season long, and it was very impressive to watch, as I just said again. But any last questions from you, Steve?
Well, Coach, you just kind of told us that bigger and better things are amongst these two guys. Garrett, let's start with you. What are the plans for the summer? What's next for you?
Well, we'll see if any IFL teams offer me anything. And then other than that, I got a high school showcase I'm running out in St. Michael, Minnesota. It's the Midwest Showcase. So we partnered with the All-American Bowl and down in Miami, Florida. So the top juniors and seniors will get invites to that. Other than that, probably coaching and training, getting ready for, I got an XFL workout July 17th down in Houston. We'll see how that goes. And then going to be coaching up in at STMA High School in Minnesota. And then we'll see if the IFL gives me something.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Well, definitely best of luck in all that. Arthur, what's up next for you?
Same thing. Try to see if I can get an offer from any IFL teams. Finish the season out with them. Help them out a little bit if I can. And then regardless of if that happens or not, still just train, stay ready for the next opportunity. Probably hit one of the XFL showcases as well and try to see if I can make something happen with that. So
definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, if there's
so
any,
we actually have one last guest who joined us. The quarterback, Aaron Aiken. Aaron, how are you doing tonight?
He gonna join us in his
there
lot.
you go.
Oh my God. Fix your mic, man.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, my man. Fix your mic, my man.
Well, don't do that. Don't do that. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. Let's relax. What's going on, y'all? How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I was just getting ready to say if there's any XFL teams watching, they'd be crazy not to come and look at these three players right here because I watched the entire season. I watched the games multiple times, obviously, and they have been absolutely – I'm surprised you guys made it through the entire CIF season without getting called up. So,
You know, the funny thing about that,
I appreciate that.
We had a couple of guys that did, and they chose to stay because of the culture that we built here. Guys like Garrett, guys like Arthur, but we did have a couple of guys like that, and that's a testament, honestly, from like I said, from the top down of the culture and of what we've built here.
Absolutely.
And actually be able to bless to get Aaron because Aaron had just showed out on TV with San Diego, and to be able to get him was actually a great blessing for us.
I would agree. So can I ask how that came about? How did Aaron end up with Gillette?
If I tell you, I have to kill you. Actually, Aaron and Coach Gray knew each other. Played with each other, when Coach Gray was playing. So it was an easy thing. I know Coach Gray reached out to Aaron. Aaron had some things that he was working on. I know when I spoke to him, he said he had to pray on some things. And once he prayed on it, man, he called and said, Coach, this is where I want to be. He had to show some doubters that he's more than just a guy that can run the ball. And I think he came down and did a great job for us. The first day he walked into our locker room, he became the instant leader on offense. He brought the offense and defense together. He's a worker, and nobody knows this. The night before the game, he fell asleep in a meeting room watching film. I had to come get him. He had slept in the meeting room watching film, so I had to wake him up before we got on the bus. So I know this is important to him. And plus, man, he probably get mad at him. He made a promise to his mama and his grandma that he was going to do the right thing, so he came down and did the right thing.
I love that. So, Aaron, I know you weren't with the team all season, but what was your favorite moment?
Can you hear us, Aaron?
What was your favorite moment from this season? I know you weren't
What was my favorite moment this season? Right. I would say for me, definitely bringing Gillette their first, helping the team bring them their first playoff win. We had been through some tough battles in prior weeks. So that was frustrating and kind of some close battles that honestly, it sucks to say it. To be honest, one of my favorite moments is really that Salina playoff game. We didn't come out on the right end, but in terms of a battle, that was ton of fun. Like the intensity of the game was a ton of fun. I just wanted to be on the winning side of it. But winning that first playoff win against Southwest was definitely an epic moment for the team, and you could see how the fan base responded to that after the game. Everybody was locked in. Everybody was having a ton of fun. Ton of the fans had, we'd see them out and about. One of the fans that come up to me at the end of the game talking about how we had made her son's night and everything because he was shy about getting his football signed, and we kind of welcomed him in real well. And honestly, playing in front of the Gillette crowd and the Gillette fan base was just fun all season for the time that I was there. So, but the Southwest playoff game definitely was a highlight for me.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. What was ultimately the last deciding factor that brought you to Gillette?
So Coach brought it up before. Really, for me, was the opportunity to come play. I mean, you had two coaches up this way who had a ton of experience and a ton of knowledge at the highest level of arena ball, right? These are guys who are recognized at the AFL level. Both of these guys respectfully. I had known some other people. Obviously, Coach Gray and I had a history. It wasn't just somebody who knew me, but it was really the type of offense in a lot of ways. I mean, I know I gas him up a lot, but I think that he's really one of the best up-and-coming OCs and offensive minds in this arena game. He's a versatile dude who can coach in both an AFL-style offense or an IFL/CIF-style offense. And really, the main factor was, not that I didn't see a ton in terms of the Mustangs prior to this year, but I knew they had struggled some. They turned it around so fast. I'm like, that's a culture change. You know what I mean? Like, you can pour a bunch of talent in an area, but to have a turnaround season like Gillette was having before I even got here, that's a change of culture. And so, I was in Duke. We had the crazy trade had happened from San Diego to Duke. Our QB room was flooded, and Duke wasn't really trying to let me go at the time. Much respect to them over there. They got a lot of great stuff going on, but I wanted to get somewhere where I could not only prove parts of my game, but also be coached. I think people kind of overlook the fact that, you play in the arena for a little bit and people think that, you kind of are stuck in your ways. I'm like, no, I'm still trying to grow and learn and get this game down pat. So the opportunity to learn and grow, play with a young team that had a ton of energy, and then just to come compete was really what drew me up there. And then, these guys, everything that I was looking for was up here, and, I took the gamble and went with it.
Any regrets?
Freezer.
I don't know if it's me. I don't know. Can they hear me?
Yeah. Do you have any regrets? You better say no.
I think we got a little bit of a lag there.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. I know it's kind of like up
you.
and down over here. I don't know if I'm in a hotel, so all right, good.
Yeah, we can hear you. What? Any regrets, or do you think you made the right decision after seeing how everything fell for you?
100% the right decision. No regrets whatsoever. I owe this team and this coaching staff and this community the opportunity to come out here and showcase some of my abilities. Not just, biggest thing I think for me in my arena career is that some of it's just been in spurts, right? So you catch me for a few games here, catch me for a few games here, this, that, and the other. I got to display myself consistently over a course of games. And it wasn't just, it wasn't just like the prettiest path. Like, we took some tough ones, right? We took some tough L's. We broke a CIF record. By the way, that might be one of my favorite little highlights too. Definitely breaking the CIF record in the first game. That was a lot of fun and guys were excited. But, I got to grow as a player, and there are some of that growth will be seen on film. Some of that growth won't be seen on film at all. And some of my own teammates and my coaching staff got to see that growth one-on-one. That level of vulnerability for me was something that was crucial because being a leader is a never-ending growing experience. And so I was challenged up here to be better in ways that you'll see on the field physically, but some ways mentally and spiritually that I just grew off the field. And, Coach and I talked about it. I have no regrets whatsoever. The people I met, the teammates I met out here, I got to live an experience and grow in an experience that, I'm going to remember for the rest of my career. So, no regrets on my end.
Very
so
nice.
We're going into the off season, and I'm sure one of the hot topics going into the off season, it will be the talk of expansion between leagues. I just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on what you think would be the best for all these leagues moving forward. And let's actually start with Mr. Titus there.
Really, people forget that this comes down to business. Most of us that own teams have done well in business, and it has to come down to a business decision. Coach is always talking about business decisions on the field and with personnel. Well, my focus is always on business decisions off the field to make sure the teams economically make sense. And as far as a business decision comes with merging of leagues and things like that, I think it has to be a correct business decision. Can we reduce dues? Can we reduce travel costs? Can we reduce overhead expenses by being in a new league? Can we create new revenue streams that don't currently exist? Those are the questions that I think we have to answer as owners moving forward. Is there ways to make things more economically equitable for us to own these teams? Because these aren't cheap things to endeavor in whatsoever. And, if we can get to a league that has national deals with different income streams, and that's something that we definitely have to consider. For example, if, say, Gillette or Billings moves to the IFL, we're looking at additional costs, transportation. How is that going to be offset? Are we going to have new sponsors that are going to come in to offset these costs that the league can bring to us and things like that? And that goes the same thing with an NAL merger. If we were to do it, would it be a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference? Would we be able just to play Western Conference teams? Would we have to do airlines to the Eastern Conference? Because when you start getting into flights, that's when costs exponentially increase. Length of the season, how many weeks is our season going to be? Can we, hotel costs, food costs, things like that, again, exponentially increase with the length of the season. So I think we have to look at it from a pure economic standpoint. But then when we get out of the business side, we have to look at the fan experience. Is our current teams in Gillette and in Billings going to like the arena football game if we were to go to the NAL? It's a little bit of a different game with the rebound nets, the scoring, things like that. Are they going to like that experience? And so, and then Gillette doesn't know this, but Billings, was the first and second IFL champions ever. Mm-hmm. And so is there going to be a difference if we're playing in Massachusetts, if we're playing in Arizona, if we're playing a Bay Area, if we're playing a Frisco, things like that? Is that going to draw more people to our crowds? And that's something we have to look at moving forward. And so I definitely think, as I said in the Billings show, it's not good business to not have a conversation with these leagues, but I think it economically has to make sense in order for these franchises to be sustainable for the long term.
Real quick before we move on, Steve. So if a merger isn't a possibility, what about a possible expansion of the CIF? Can we add more teams?
Absolutely. We just have to have the right people in the right places with the right ambition to make that happen. Because of the three leagues, I would say probably the CIF is the most economically viable for owners because it's a bus league. It's a lot cheaper to bus travel than it is to fly. So out of the three leagues as it's currently set up, the CIF definitely has it's the most economically the right league. There are markets out there that are untapped that could sustain a team. You like Casper, Wyoming used to have the Casper Cavalry, the IFL team. You have Colorado opportunities. And that's one thing that, with Billings, when Billings was in the IFL, there was Casper in the IFL. There was Colorado in the IFL. If Billings were to go to the IFL, costs are going to increase because we don't have Casper anymore. We don't have Colorado anymore. There are great markets out there for expansion. We just have to put the right people in the right places and have the right people recruit potential owners to expand. And so there's absolutely potential there. We just need, from a league standpoint, the right people to fulfill that expansion opportunity.
Coach, your thoughts?
So it's basically, I've been doing this since 96. You know what the problem is? You see how you got each one of us in a box? That's the problem we have with indoor. It's no different than playing in the NFL. You might play against Lamar Jackson one week. You might play against Tom Brady next week. You've got all these owners who've got these different types of leagues. It's still indoor. You see what I'm saying? And they want to get their rules. They want to keep their rules a certain same way. It's still indoor football. So if you get to the point where, people can sit at the table and really just come together and understand that all this can work, it might get to the point where you might play CIF rules or you might play AFL rules or NAL rules. It's still indoor football. You see what I'm saying? So you got all these people who's caught up in these boxes saying that this league is better, this league is better, this league is better. It's still indoor football. So if you want to get to the point where you want to play against Lamar Jackson one week, Patrick Mahomes the next week, or you want to play against Tom Brady, it's still NFL football, correct? So the one things we got to do is we got to get outside that box. So everybody's caught up in this box. With the rebound nets, you can still have the rebound nets and still play in the CIF. It's the offense. It's the rules. People don't want to adjust to the rules. That's the reason why you have all these problems, or you have these people with a different set of things. I've been doing this almost 30-something years, so it's been a long time. And you see guys come in and, well, we got the rebound nets. We got this, we got that. Last time I checked, you're still doing it indoors. It's still arena football or indoor football. It's just the rules.
And Steve, if I can add one thing, this is my first full season doing indoor football and really my second season altogether. I want to give a shout out to the CIF owners and the directors this year. This was a very low drama year. I mean, compared to last year, the ownership is ambitious. They want to get things done correctly. They're working a little bit more slowly than I like, but still we're making progress on social media, on advertising, things like that. Our calls this year, we had our moments where we disagreed with one another, but at the end of the day, we agreed to disagree. There were no hard feelings. We all really, I don't want to say got along, but we all really came together when we needed to. It was compared to last year. It was, last year there was so much upheaval with teams and so much uncertainty with teams. This year, I want to knock on wood, we're a few days away, but this has been a very low drama year for the CIF. And so I really want to give credit to all the owners of the league and the directors of the league for really looking out for the best interest of the CIF. And it really, the product on the field showed. I mean, we finally were hammering down on production. We were finally hammering down to make sure the product looked good. Hope that we have a scoreboard on the screen for our game Saturday night, our championship game. We all put a lot of money out there, and I know they're having their problems in Omaha. I hope we have a scoreboard out there, but we're all working very hard and spending valuable resources to make sure we have a good quality video production product. And because that's really how people across the country view our league, is our video production. And I know if you take Gillette's first game, which was terrible, I immediately doubled, tripled what we were paying them to make sure we had a quality video feed in Gillette. And we're taking those steps moving forward across the league to make sure that we're putting a quality product on and off the field. And again, to the CIF's credit for that.
Yeah, shout out to Ed Donahue and his crew. They did an amazing job for both teams.
100%. Ed Donahue, Mark Donahue, Aaron Wood, all of those guys, they did an amazing job for Gillette and Billings this year.
Yep. Let's get to the players' reaction, our thoughts on the future of league or leagues. Arthur, let's start with you. What do you think?
I personally I don't think I have enough knowledge or experience in the indoor or arena game yet, since this is just my rookie year to really know how everything goes as far as that. But I say I know it's a lot of talk between like skill levels and things like that between the leagues, and I like our Gillette team versus anybody in any league this year. So,
my man,
talent wise, I think if the talent's not a problem, I don't think.
Garrett, what are your thoughts?
That's my man.
Yeah, kind of agree with Art on that. This is my first year playing indoor football. If I had to put some thought to it, I would just put all the leagues together. But Coach Walker was saying it's not that simple with everyone different rules and everything like that. But it's interesting. I agree. I got us over any other team in any other league. So
I love it. Aaron, you've played in both leagues, correct?
Yes, I have. Yep.
What do you think is the best road to success?
I mean, one, I think like everybody said on this call, talent's evenly distributed amongst all these leagues, right? You're gonna find talent in almost every league that you play in. To think that, some people were asking, are you going to CIF because it's going to be easier? And I was like, no. I mean, I recognize there's going to be a ton of talent here, and I think the CIF has done a great job in terms of remaining competitive in spite of kind of like a lot of growth with some of the other leagues around, right? The IFL took some big steps over the past few years. They really wanted to make themselves, the head honcho, and they've done a great job. I mean, you can tell the production that's been in the IFL is better, right? IFL teams definitely are held to a certain level of accountability. And so they're definitely trying to change that. That being said, to overlook the CIF in terms of the talent pool, I think would be naive for a lot of these leagues. There's a lot of talent here. I think the CIF has a great blend of veteran and young presence, and you really see it. Like you almost see it from like opposite side of the spectrum. We have one of the youngest teams in the league, and then Salina has like a huge vet team. right? You get to see those matchups week in and week out. And I think that's great in terms of keeping some of the older players still relevant, but you have a ton of talent still. I mean, you look at the Claude Davises of the league, right? Dudes like him who've been playing this for a while, D-Wash even over in Salina, they're still very relevant players. And where the IFL has made a lot of strides to bring in some of the hottest talent per se that's out there, CIF and whatnot is giving opportunities for guys who've been very good in these leagues for years to showcase themselves. And so in some ways, a merger would be awesome. In other ways, I like that the CIF keeps a focus on small market football. And the IFL has taken such big strides away from that. You know, we talked about when Billings first got out. That was when Tri-Cities was out, Billings was out, Colorado fell afterwards. These are franchises that had a lot of respect in the IFL. And some of the, major market kind of plays kind of ostracized some of these smaller markets. However, some of the heart of arena football is in small market football, right? Like your fan bases that are coming in and week out, you have them in, obviously you have the Arizonas of the world and Spokane back in the day, this and the other. But I mean, shoot, go to a game against Billings and come on, Omaha, right? Omaha, one tier, loud as ever, cowbells and everything. You still get the same energy and whatnot. And so I think that although I do like the idea of emerging in some ways, I do hope that leagues like the CIF keep their identity and are able to promote who they are while also allowing for those small markets to still flourish and whatnot. And so that's what my hope would be, to keep kind of some of that presence. Like, you don't want to see Sioux Cities of the world fall off in arena football, in my opinion, right? You don't want to see some of these small markets not get the same presence that they have and kind of get diminished. And so I think there is some inclusion amongst leagues. I also think at the same time, there's some identities that are very stark to certain leagues, and I would hope for that to be there. But in terms of talent and recognition, I hope the CIF continues to pump out the product that they do. I mean, I came down here and got challenged. I didn't come down here and have a cakewalk. And I was blessed to have some success in the IFL this year. This and the other, I've had some success in the NAL in the back to come back to the CIF, this is my second time in it. And both times that I played in the CIF, I've had to really up my game. And so you see with our talent, I mean, shoot, I'll stick with my guys. I'll take Gillette over everybody. I love my team. Love what we have going on. Still salty that we're not playing this weekend. So excuse me for that. But I would hope that you maintain that traction that's here and that the CIF continues to take big steps up.
Definitely.
I love that sentiment. Any final thoughts on the season from any of you guys? Let's start with Garrett.
Man, just a little, like he was saying, a little salty. I couldn't be in the championship right now, but it is what it is. Everything, take it as a learning point. Just got to keep going forward now.
Definitely.
Anything for Mustang fans?
Hey, man, Mustang fans, appreciate y'all. It's been real. You guys been awesome. Every single one of you guys.
Very nice. Let's go to Aaron next. Aaron, any last final thoughts on the season and anything for the fans?
I mean, first and foremost, still to Steve, Coach Walker, Coach Gray, and just the team in general, I got to say just publicly thank you to them for bringing me on board, having me down with the team. I said to Coach before, mine bringing the championship, which I'm not going to say I'm a little salty about. I'm still pretty big mad about it. But in terms of growth, I got everything that I wanted, and I appreciate that. The fan base was great. They came out. They came through. I'm so thankful for the fan base that we had and the energy that we had. And to my guys, continue to train, continue to stay focused, continue to stay locked in. Praying that everybody gets an opportunity to elevate and showcase their talent. And I would say to fans, stay tuned in to what's going on in Gillette, what's going on in the CIF. You have an owner like Steve over here who's ambitious, who's hungry, who is willing to use his resources to get where he's trying to get to. There's not too many plays that he's incapable of making. And so You can expect a lot of growth. You can expect a lot of, you can expect a lot of just transition and whatnot. But I mean, shouts to these guys, man. I love this team. I'm thank God every day for the opportunity.
Very nice. Aaron, what about you? Or Arthur, sorry about that.
Same thing. Appreciate Steve. I appreciate the coaches for believing in me and, you know what I'm saying, let me be a part of this. The fans was great. The love that we were showing around the city was great. I appreciate the fans, the love that we got. And so I'm salty about the championship thing too, man. I think we should be playing, obviously. You know, we all trying to do other things and advance in our careers, but my guys all say the word, I'm running it back. So yeah, everybody listen to that one. All 25 of y'all listen to that one. Y'all say the word, I'm back. We running it back because that's gonna sit on my chest forever. I'm telling you.
Say that, man. Absolutely.
I love
I love
it.
that.
I appreciate all you guys. I really do. It was really fun to watch. Thank you, Sam, for letting me come on board. Again, it was I had a blast this season. I really, really did.
Yes, sir. We appreciate y'all too.
Appreciate you
One
guys.
of
Did a
the
lot for us.
If it wasn't for y'all, I think it would be. I mean, y'all actually helped put Gillette on the map with this, giving these young men a platform to talk. And like I told y'all yesterday, man, we thank both of you young men for helping us in this process of being successful, because you got to realize not everybody knows where Gillette's at. You know what I'm saying? So thank you very much.
we
Coach,
appreciate that, definitely.
You're yellow and black, not blue and black. Why are you wearing those colors?
It's
Hey,
dark.
Come here.
Okay.
Is the
It's dark. It's dark.
That's fair.
Got my guy right here. Pop in the camera. This the man right here. Yeah.
What's up,
Yeah,
DJ?
Number one, DJ. Yeah,
What's up, man? How's it going?
What's up?
He can't hear y'all because I got a headphone in, but
Oh,
he
gotcha.
had to show face real quick.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So we got a Facebook comment that says props to ownership and the coaches for the great season. I would also say props to the players as well. It takes a full team effort to get where you guys got this season, and I just really encouraged for the future of Gillette for sure. I mean, after what you guys were able to do this season, I can't wait to see next season.
Especially if all 25 run it back.
There it is.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
25 here. I'm here.
There it is, man. Championship comes to Gillette next season.
There we go.
There it is.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, thank you everybody for your time. And I think we're going to call it a night on this one. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button and make sure you tune in for the championship this upcoming weekend. You may not have a dog in the fight, but you should still support the league regardless. So best of luck to Omaha and Selena this weekend, and should be a great game. Should be a great game.
Good job, my mans. Thank you, my mans. All my mans.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, somebody get him off the camera, man.
See you guys. Thank you.
We'll cut him off.
Appreciate you.
Night.
Have a good one.
Thank
Have a
y'all.
great
Thank
night,
y'all.
guys.
Thank y'all.
Oh.